What will you do if they let you go home? And the plastic's all melted and so is the chrome. What will you do when the label comes off? And the plastic's all melted and the chrome is too soft. What would you do if the people you knew were the plastic that melted and the chromium too? Who are the brain police? Good morning. My name is Steve Benson, and I'd like to tell you a little story about a long time ago when I was only 13, living in Oxford, Ohio, with my mother who was single and my brother and sister who were younger. I had a very interesting experience the summer of 1966, including buying my first Frank Zappa record, Freak Out, which I sang a little bit of. Anyway, before I delve into the written description and the details, some of them rather gory and disturbing, about addiction and recovery, mental institutions, I'd like to give you a little setting and cast of characters. So, I, being obviously the obvious protagonist of my memoirs, am going to do this kind of first person singular. And it's written as though I were 13 years old, and would like to give you a flavor of that in my writing, which will be coming up here very shortly. But my mother, an English professor, had recently divorced from my father, also an English professor, and she was living with us three kids in Oxford, Ohio, where she taught at Miami of Ohio. Another leading character in the story is my Aunt Ann Benson, who was an English professor also. I guess it runs in the family. And she taught at Western College for Women, also in Oxford. A very eccentric and feminist woman with a penchant for acquiring everything she owned at auctions, which we will get into at greater length later in the memoir. But today, as I drive along these southern Vermont roads, bird watching, as happens to be my hobby these days, now 60 years on, I wanted to start to put some visuals, hi neighbor, into the telling of this story, so you get a sense of the time, the character, how things have moved ahead. Some of you who were around in 1966 would remember the times. And my mother was a free spirit, let's put it that way. Very bohemian, very creative in a literary fashion. Art, she absolutely loved anything Picasso or and that whole type of color, and the freedom of the hills is something she taught me, or I should say she didn't teach me that, she gave it to me. We were very feral. That Frank Zappa album I mentioned, I bought that with my own paper route money. And aside from buying rock and roll albums with my paper route money, I was very fond of buying chemistry from the local hobby store so that I could make my own fireworks, explosives, model rockets, and other mischief-making devices. The railroad sets that I built from scrap lumber, hauled in and set up in my own bedroom, filled me with countless hours of experimentation, including buying various Godzilla models and Frankensteins and stuff like that, and then transposing my cousin Ann's daughter, Wendy. I got some of her, when she got older, I got some of her Barbie dolls. And what would a 13-year-old male want with Barbie dolls? Well, I used to cut the heads off and put them on Draculas and Godzillas, and I thought those were absolutely hilarious. And then I did the reverse with the Godzilla and the Frankenstein heads, and I would put them on Barbie dolls. And the display in my bedroom was, well, a little disturbed. And anyway, which reminds me of another Frank Zappa song. Believe me when I tell you that this song is really true. I want everyone to listen and believe it's about some little people from a long, long time ago, and all of the things the neighbors didn't know. Early every morning, Daddy Dinky went to work, selling lamps and chairs to San Bernardino squares. And I still remember Mama with her apron and her pad, feeding all the boys at Ed's Cafe, whizzing and pasting and putting through the day, Ronnie helping, Kenny helping burn their poots away. And all the while on a shelf in the shed, Kenny's little creatures on display. So anyway, it goes on, but it gives you an idea of the world I come from. And what you're about to dive into is a remembrance of some very interesting times a long time ago. And, well, all of the things the neighbors came to know. So without further ado, I will give you 1966 and all that.